in a small, forgotten town, nestled between the gnarled roots of ancient trees and enveloped in a perpetual mist, stood an old manor that had long since lost its luster. The once bright walls were now a faded gray, peeling and cracked, as if the house itself was trying to shed its memories. Ivy climbed the sides, twisting and turning, as if trying to reclaim the structure for nature. The air was thick with the scent of damp earth and decaying leaves, mingling with the distant echoes of time. This manor, known to the locals as Ashwood House, was the subject of many whispered tales. Children dared each other to run up the creaking steps, only to be met with the chilling embrace of the unknown. It was said that the portraits that adorned the walls were not mere paintings, but gateways to another realm. The most notorious of them was a large, ornate frame that housed the image of a woman draped in a flowing gown, her eyes hauntingly alive. Those who gazed into her eyes claimed to feel a strange pull, as if she were beckoning them to step closer, to uncover secrets hidden within the canvas. The story begins with a young woman named Clara, new to the town and filled with curiosity. Clara was an aspiring artist, drawn to the beauty of her surroundings and the stories that echoed through the empty streets. She had heard the legends about Ashwood House, and her intrigue grew with each retelling. There was something about the manor that called to her, whispering promises of inspiration and creativity. One misty afternoon, Clara decided to venture inside, unaware of the journey that awaited her. As she pushed open the heavy wooden door, it creaked ominously, sending a shiver down her spine. The interior was dark, cloaked in shadows that danced along the walls. Dust motes floated in the air, catching the faint beams of light that filtered through the grimy windows. Clara wandered through the empty halls, her footsteps echoing softly against the wooden floor. The atmosphere was thick with silence, broken only by the distant sound of a clock ticking, counting down the moments of her life. She paused in front of the infamous portrait, her heart pounding in her chest. It was more magnificent up close, the intricate details of the woman's gown shimmering as if woven from moonlight itself. Clara felt a chill run down her spine as she locked eyes with the figure, her breath hitching in her throat. In that moment, Clara was transported. The world around her faded, and she found herself standing in a lush garden, vibrant and alive. Flowers bloomed in colors she had never seen, and the air was filled with the sweet scent of jasmine and roses. The woman from the portrait stood before her, no longer confined to canvas, but flesh and blood. Her smile was warm, inviting, yet there was an underlying sadness in her gaze. "Welcome, dear Clara," the woman said, her voice melodic, like a gentle breeze rustling through the leaves. "I have been waiting for you." Clara's heart raced as she realized she was not merely an observer, but an integral part of this strange new world. She stepped forward, drawn to the woman, who introduced herself as Elara. Elara explained that she had once lived in Ashwood House, but her spirit was now trapped, bound to the portrait that had captured her essence. Clara listened intently as Elara spoke of her life, her dreams, and the tragic fate that had sealed her in this eternal limbo. As Elara recounted her story, Clara felt an overwhelming sense of empathy. She could see the flicker of hope in Elara's eyes, a desire to be free from the chains of the past. But there was something deeper, a darkness lurking beneath the surface. Clara sensed that Elara's fate was intertwined with the house itself, and the mysteries of Ashwood were far from simple. With each passing moment, Clara felt the pull of the portrait growing stronger. Elara explained that the portrait served as a gateway, a conduit between the living and the afterlife, but it was also a prison. The more Clara learned about Elara's life, the more she understood the price of freedom. To release Elara from her eternal torment, Clara would have to confront the shadows that haunted Ashwood House. As they walked through the garden, Clara began to notice strange occurrences. The flowers whispered secrets, and the wind carried messages that only she could hear. Shadows danced at the corners of her vision, flickering like candle flames. Clara's heart raced, a mix of fear and exhilaration. She was on the brink of discovering something profound, yet terrifying. Elara guided Clara back to the manor, where the walls seemed to pulse with energy. Each room held echoes of the past, memories trapped within the faded wallpaper and dusty furniture. Clara felt a sense of urgency as she explored, piecing together the fragments of a life that had once been vibrant and full of promise. In the library, she stumbled upon a journal, its pages yellowed with age. As she read, she uncovered the truth about Elara's demise, a tragic love story intertwined with betrayal and loss. Elara had been deeply in love with a man named Jonathan, but their love had been thwarted by jealousy and deceit. The portrait had been painted as a final tribute to their love, but it had also become a vessel for Elara's despair. As Clara continued to read, the atmosphere shifted. The shadows thickened, and a cold breeze swept through the room, causing the pages to flutter violently. Clara felt a presence, dark and foreboding, creeping closer. She knew she was not alone, and the weight of the house's history pressed down on her like a heavy fog. Determined to help Elara find peace, Clara sought out the confrontation that seemed inevitable. She returned to the garden, where the air was thick with tension. Elara stood beside her, the light in her eyes flickering like a candle in the wind. They both sensed the darkness that loomed, a force that sought to protect its secrets at all costs. Suddenly, the garden transformed. The vibrant colors faded, replaced by shades of gray. The flowers wilted, and the sky darkened as a figure emerged from the shadows. It was Jonathan, Elara's lost love, but he appeared twisted, corrupted by the weight of his choices. His eyes were filled with sorrow, but also a fierce protectiveness over the memories they shared. "Clara," he spoke, his voice low and somber. "You must understand, I never meant for this to happen. I loved her too much to let her go." Clara felt a surge of emotion as she observed the conflict between the two spirits. Elara stepped forward, her voice trembling. "Jonathan, Our love was meant to transcend, not to bind. You must let me go. Tension hung in the air like a heavy shroud. Clara stood between them, feeling the weight of their love and despair. She realized that the true conflict was not just between the two spirits, but within Jonathan himself. His inability to forgive himself for the past had trapped them both in this eternal cycle of pain. With courage swelling in her heart, Clara spoke. You both deserve to be free. Love is not possession. It is about letting go. You must release each other to find peace. Elara's eyes shimmered with tears as she reached out to Jonathan. He hesitated, his expression a mixture of longing and despair. But Clara's words hung in the air, a lifeline thrown into turbulent waters. In that moment, something shifted. The shadows began to recede, and the garden slowly returned to life, colors vibrant once more. Clara could feel the energy changing, a palpable release of tension as Jonathan took a step back. I never wanted to keep you trapped, Elara. I'm so sorry. With those words, the chains that bound Elara began to dissolve. Clara felt a rush of warmth enveloping her, as if the very essence of love itself were flowing through the air. Elara turned to Clara, her smile radiant, and in that moment, Clara understood the power of forgiveness. As the last remnants of darkness faded, Elara's form began to shimmer and glow. She stepped closer to Clara, gratitude shining in her eyes. Thank you, dear Clara. You have given me my freedom. And just like that, Elara began to fade, her spirit rising into the sky, a brilliant light illuminating the garden. Clara watched in awe, feeling both a sense of loss and joy. She had witnessed a love story unfold, a tale of heartache and redemption, and she had played a part in it. The garden was alive once more, and Clara felt the weight of Ashwood House lifting. As she turned to leave, she could sense the presence of Jonathan lingering, a guardian spirit now free from the burdens of the past. Clara exited the manor, the sun breaking through the clouds, illuminating the path ahead. She knew her life would never be the same, for she had touched the veil between worlds. The whispers of the house would forever echo in her heart, a reminder of the importance of love, forgiveness, and the courage to face the unknown. As she walked away, Clara glanced back at the manor one last time. The portrait of Elara remained, but now it seemed different, infused with light and hope. It would no longer serve as a prison, but as a testament to the enduring power of love, a gateway to the afterlife that had finally fulfilled its purpose. Clara continued her journey, inspired to create, to tell stories of those who had once been trapped but found their way home. In her heart, she carried the essence of Elara and Jonathan, a reminder that love, even in its most tragic forms, could lead to liberation and peace. As night fell over the town, Ashwood House stood silently in the moonlight, its stories woven into the fabric of time. And somewhere, in the whispers of the wind, the legacy of the enchanted portrait lived on, inviting those who dared to seek the truth hidden within its depths.